Yo, what up, good people? It's your homeboy Heaven My Lifestyle with another episode of the Pop Culture 223 podcast. Look, if you want to learn about the use of deadly force, the aftermath, the ethical part, the moral part, the financial part, you want to listen into this conversation. I got the homeboy Chris here, and he's going to explain all that. But before we get into this video, please hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom so we can get this thing popping. So, this for everybody that don't know who you is. And I know you're a celebrity in your world down there in Florida. Let everybody know who you are. Let everybody know who you are, man. And we can go from there.
My name is Chris. I'm the owner of FTAC. I'm based out in Central Florida, Orlando area. Firearms instructor, deadly force consultant, and yeah, I'm just a humble guy. Just know a little something about something. That's it.
Hey, he know a little something about something, but he's what you say the owner of FTAC and what else? What other thing you said?
So with FTAC, we do firearms training, and then we do deadly force consulting.
Deadly Force. That whatever you said, I was like, that sound cool. I ain't never heard nobody say Deadly Force Consulting. I ain't never heard nobody say that, but that's cool, man. Like I said, when I reached out to you, I seen the interview. Y'all was going live on IG, and I think it was on Black Guns. Was it Black? What's the IG?
Black owned guns.
Black on Guns. And y'all were having a dope conversation, man. You had a lot of guys in there that was feeding information and feeding like good information to the about us and about training, about educating our people. And I just thought that I wanted to reach out to you to keep that conversation going and give it on a longer platform, or we only hear about an hour. Just talk more about some of the concepts and the topics y'all were talking about. And, give you a kind of a broader, let's say, mic or audience, not a broader audience, but a more of a long, long form to kick it about some of the topics. So here we are. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on.
No, no, I appreciate you.
So like in your, so what are y'all? What talk to me about consulting the deadly force. What is that exactly? Like, what does that consist of?
So what that consists of, or what it looks like, is, for example, you might have been involved. Let's say you're involved in a situation of self-defense where you felt like you had to use justifiable use of deadly force, and let's just say the state disagrees with that, and you unfortunately get charged. Now, you and your attorney need to build a defense, right? So I would be one of the guys, if selected, that would look at your situation, assess the facts, and then make a determination based on, I professionally believe that this use was justified and reasonable, or I disagree. If your attorney sees that I can be beneficial to the case, I would be hired and then be consulting on the case. And then if it goes to trial, then we're preparing for trial, and the goal is to win. Right. Or it could be, let's say the state has hired me, and my job is to show and explain that the use of force that was used was not reasonable, hence it was not justified.
So let's say this. So I'm assuming in your the other part of your business, the training part, you go over or CPL. I mean CPL instructor. Do you go over stuff like this prior to that, like having that like in your other classes?
Absolutely. And especially in our like concealed class, I go real in depth into the application of deadly force and also post-critical incident, like what happens after you use deadly force, and educate people, because a lot of times people are not aware, and they only find out when they've used deadly force, and they're in the moment. That's when they're finding out. So by that time it's too late. So the job is to prepare you. My job is to prepare you beforehand.
So let's say this. So give us your resume, because I know when people when especially when we start talking, it's like where did how does he know this? Where does his background come from to educate somebody on this, and to have this information to actually educate our people, whoever coming to your training. So what's your background?
So essentially, my background, I've been doing firearms training for 9 years, 9 years, 7 years full time. Um, as far as deadly force training. Um, I've trained with Moss, Ayub. Anyone in Deadly Force Consulting, Deadly Force World knows he's pretty much the top expert witness when it comes to that. So training under him. And the various jobs that I've held as far as within security and protection. But more importantly, it's the application, the personal, the unfortunate use uh, of deadly force, right? So it's one thing to learn things from the books and you know you learn something from your teacher, right, your mentor. But then it's another thing when you unfortunately have to apply that knowledge and the skill set to actually defend yourself and then go through the ringer and then to show that your actions were justified.
So basically saying you may have a scenario where this all came into play. Like you had to one protect yourself and one because so I'm a former CPL instructor. Don't really you didn't re up my information or my license, my credentials. But we always talk about the use of deadly force, how to be ready, how to be trained for. You can't really train for, right? It's just something that happens sporadically, and you have to respond. It's more of a response than it is. You can't be 100% ready, right? So you got the
Right.
situation, but we really can really talk about the mental and the aftermath of a deadly situation. Like because nope, I haven't been in one necessarily that it's I had to get a lawyer, had to get this and had to get that. So can you speak on some like some maybe some background on like how does that look and how does that work? Because we talk about the aftermath, but like you know what I'm saying to have people maybe on here like you that can actually speak about the aftermath, how it works, what it looks like mentally, physically on a person because you go through the altercation, that's taxing, right? And then after the altercation, I mean taxing on your body, your mental, your family, but then after the altercation, what does that look like?
Absolutely. I will say, yes, it's taxing. It's very stressful. So let's start. Once you've used deadly force, immediately, once law enforcement arrives on scene, there is a criminal investigation that starts right away. And unfortunately, you are suspect number one until they've cleared you and determined that you were actually a victim. Right now, their investigation might might say that yes, you are the suspect, and then unfortunately you're going to get charged, right? However, so they arrive on scene immediately. The criminal investigation starts. They're gathering facts. They're gathering evidence, witness statements, video surveillance, and their job is to try to put that puzzle together based on what you are saying. Are you telling the truth or are you lying? And then they're going to supplement that with again the video surveillance, witness statements, crime scene investigations. CSI is going to come out, take pictures, videos, do all that stuff, and do their work right behind the scenes to determine right the facts that you have provided were true or they were false, right? And that will dictate whether or not you're going to be charged or not. So yes, it's going to be very stressful. You're going to start doubting yourself, right? You're gonna you know you did everything right, but yet now this situation is up to the investigator or investigators that are now investigating this unfortunate situation, and they are going to be the ones, right? If they feel like they have enough probable cause for these charges, then so be it. If not, they're going to push it up to the state, right? And let the state attorney decide whether or not your actions were justified or not justified. And unfortunately, it's a waiting game, right? And you're waiting for that phone call. You're going to have to do multiple interviews, right? Knowing your rights. What do you say? What don't you say? Right. So once they arrive, investigators arrive on. So law enforcement is going to arrive on scene. Patrol. They're the first ones. They're going to arrive on scene. They're going to secure the scene. They're going to interview you. Then from there, you're going to have to wait till detectives arrive on scene. That might take a couple of hours, right? So they arrive on scene, and then now you have to give your statement again, and it's a very lengthy and repetitive and stressful process.
So what speak on what can help you in the police when they what helps you and what can destroy you when it comes to those kind of conversations.
Articulation. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. So, what tends to happen in these stressful situations, people tend to get diarrhea of the mouth, right? Yes, you've just gone through a very traumatic and stressful situation. Some people just don't know how to talk. For example, someone might say, "Hey, man, I just shot this asshole." Your life was literally on the line, and this is your statement that you're making to the cops. That statement can be twisted all kinds of ways, right? So you have to be careful what you say. Um, you might miss out on certain details, right? Too many people do a lot of talking, they overtalk, and they don't know how to paint the picture. And it's not their fault, right? They're in a very stressful situation. They're trying to calm themselves down, and they aren't properly educated on the articulation part of the law, right?
But the
So, for
average,
example, if I
so the average, let's say the average person doesn't. They go to a CPL class, excuse me, and they think leaving the CPL class is just the end all be all of it. Like, I got my CPL license, I can carry my gun. So what other resources do you think most CPL, after the students should get? Like, where can they find all this stuff? Where can they educate themselves at? And it's, I guess, speak on Florida, but most places probably can have it, like, on the website somewhere. But like, where can people find out and actually get educated on these laws?
so the best thing to do is to take an actual class that's strictly all about deadly force and the post-critical incident, like what happens after you apply deadly force and how the laws can work in your favor or against you. Like, what do you say? What don't you say? How do you articulate, that stressful situation and paint that picture, which is going to show justification and reasonableness based on your use of force, right? So we have a class that we're going to be launching. Like, I do that within my classes, but now I'm going to be launching a specific class just for deadly force, right? You have a firearm and or you have your license. Now, what to do after you've used deadly force? How does the law work? What goes into motion? And how you can either talk yourself into handcuffs or you'll be going home.
So, so deadly force don't necessarily mean with a firearm either, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. So we
Not
we talk
not
we
at
talk.
all.
So when you say deadly force, is like give an example, like scenario, like this is scenario, this is what
So
happened.
so deadly force could be any force that can cause a person great bodily harm and or imminent death, right? So when people hear deadly force, most of the time they obviously we know it's with a gun, but deadly force can also be with a knife, right? You might be in your kitchen, right? Somebody breaks into to your house and your gun might be in your room. And the first thing that you grab is a sharp knife and you go to defend yourself. That's an act of deadly force, right? The person suffers great bodily harm and or they've unfortunately lost their life. So deadly force with a knife, deadly force can be with a bat, deadly force can be inside your vehicle, right? I'm inside my vehicle at the gas station and two guys are actively trying to carjack me, right? I take off, right? And I unfortunately end up running over one of the guys, right? That's an act of deadly force. So
Mm.
deadly force isn't just with a firearm.
So yeah, I mean, and when when you talking to people, and one thing, I mean, you talked about a little bit, is about the conversation with, like, the police, or what to say, what not to say, how to articulate. You can't, because emotions gonna be up, your stress level is gonna be high. You can't, it's like you said, you can't say, "Hey man, I popped that mother. He tried to come in my mother, blah 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 blah, bleep bleep bleep," because you're being recorded, and they're gonna use all that.
Correct.
They could use that against you. So, but like we, to say one thing and to, like, tell somebody not to be like this when that happens, is kind of like, you never know, right? You know the I guess you can do training, you can, go to the range and do this and that, but when you gotta actually get active in seconds, and then now I gotta calm myself down and speak, it could be difficult. So I guess, having some type of firearm insurance is always better. So first, the first person you call could be them, and then they can deal with it after the fact, right?
Absolutely. Having that is very important. I tell people this. Number one, anytime you've been involved in a very traumatic situation, in an act of self-defense where you had to use deadly force, once officers arrive on scene, you tell them this, hey, you know what? I'm willing to assist in your investigation um, as best as possible. But right now, I've had a very traumatic situation. Uh, I will get with my attorney, and my attorney and I will come down when my attorney sees fit. I will contact you, we will contact you, and then we'll come down and then you'll provide your official statement on what transpired, right? Because if not, again, at that scene, you're gonna say some stuff that you may not mean. You might miss out on certain details, right? That could be very critical, so invoke that right. You don't have to make a statement right there on the scene. Same way law enforcement has their Bill of Rights, and if something happens, they don't make a statement right away. You have the same thing too. Invoke your attorney and say that, my attorney and I will come down. I need to speak to my attorney first, and then we'll come down and we'll make a statement. And then you stay quiet after that. And then let them do their job. If they have enough to make an arrest, they'll arrest you right then and there. If they don't, they're going to tell you, here's a card. The investigator's going to give you a card and tell you, get with your attorney and have your attorney reach out to me ASAP.
So let me ask you this: what convers so everybody, I hope you hear how he talking. So he's real calm on his conversation and real, he can speak it. So he must have either been in some shit that he didn't had to really speak calmly and articulate all his all his stuff because he's real calm how he's talking, right? He's real calm, but I don't know if y'all can
Sadly,
hear it.
yes.
Um,
Yes, you and that's the experience side of it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, learning by the
so
fire.
right. So, I mean, like I said, I actually, whatever you want to share, share. Please believe me. They want to hear is educational purposes. Um, and I have this kind of conversation with some of the homies. When people come into gun stores, we talk or whatever, and it's always about defending property or defending life. Like just because somebody come outside or you hear somebody knocking on your car door outside, don't mean you can run out there with your blicky and then get what I'm saying, get active. That ain't like speak on that because people. Michigan is a stand your ground law. Michigan, we have a castle doctrine, all that good stuff, yada yada yada, right? But I say, listen, the car got insurance. You don't leave out your house because you hear somebody going in your car getting whatever bag and whatever thing they got in there. It is what it is. Now you can go out there, but if something pop off, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be in the wrong, right? Because they're gonna say you should have stayed in your house, you should have did this. Don't call me because I'm gonna say is it that's your ass, right? Don't call me, but
Yeah,
just
if
speak on that conversation and like how you gotta talk to us about that because we don't seem to get that shit. Like just because you
yeah,
got this firearm don't mean to give you the green light to go out and be like, you know what I'm saying?
and get active. Like that shit is a pet peeve of mine, brother.
He was like, I'm
Because
about
at
to
the end of
jump
the
through this
day,
TP.
yeah, at the end of the day, we're carrying this tool for protection of life, right? Not protection of our vehicle, right? If I am inside my castle and someone's breaking into my vehicle, I have insurance, so be it. If I step out there, what am I protecting? My vehicle? No, it should be life. Is their life at jeopardy? The answer is no. And the people that I care about the most are inside my home. Why am I stepping outside of my safe zone to go into the unknown? I don't know how many suspects are out there. Stepping out there, I could be ambushed. Stepping out there, I'm gonna be forced to use deadly force, right? Because now if they are armed or they try to redirect their attention to me, guess what? Now I gotta pop you. Why? All because I made a poor critical decision. I demonstrated a poor tactic. I am inside my home. That is my safe space. Just because I have a gun doesn't mean I have to use it. You know what you should do? You pick up the phone, you call 911, you learn how to be a good damn witness. Hey, I got a guy that's breaking into my car. This is what he looks like. This is what's going on. This is what I'm this is my address and this is what he's wearing. And if he starts to flee, guess what? Well, he's running down South Street. That's it. Be a good witness. Just because you have a gun does not mean that you need to interject yourself in a situation, because now you're jeopardizing your safety.
Eh, I talk to, and I tell people, I said, I had a conversation with this lady, and she's like, "Man, I don't think I can have a firearm because I'm too hot tempered." Da da da. Da, just giving me all this, just conversation. And I said, I'm telling you now, I'm telling you this. Once you get a firearm, the sense of responsibility is like up to the utmost. So you probably would change your ways just because you carry that firearm, you know what you can do. And then some people, like I said, don't think that some people think that because I got a firearm that I'm just like the ultimate protector. Like I'm Mr. Iron Man. I'm gonna go protect and do whatever I can do. If somebody come in my backyard, somebody start breaking my house, I said, man, it's not like that. Like we're more scared. To me, it's like I'm more responsible now than ever when I hear anything going on. Like I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm a step away from the situation. Or, if I see something popping off, my awareness is like, okay, let's just get up out of here because this ain't looking right. You know what I'm saying? So I had those conversations with a lot of people. Just like people just think because you get a firearm, you're just gonna be popping off. And I was like, nah, that's not the case, man. It's definitely not the
Absolutely.
case.
Absolutely not. The main reason why it's not the case for people like you and I is because of training. We've been exposed, right, to the good. We've learned about our responsibility. Stepping into the 2A community, carrying a firearm, it is a high liability, right? That means you have a huge burden and a huge responsibility, right? So you need to try to avoid conflicts at all costs, right? So, like you said, situational awareness. If we're out and about as gun owners, when we start seeing something going left, man, we out of there because we're not trying to get involved in that, right? That's part of my that's part of me making sure that I am not putting myself in a position where now I'm forced to use deadly force. No, I see two people that's looking like they getting ready to go at it, man, I'm out of there. I see people moving a certain kind of way, that's sixth sense, and you know what I'm talking about. When we see people that start moving a certain kind of way, nah, bro, hey, fellas, it's time to go. If y'all not leaving, I'm out. That's on you. You know what I mean? That's your responsibility. Just because you have a gun does not mean that now you suddenly have Superman syndrome. So for people who know that they have a temper problem, one of two things usually happen. If they get trained properly, right? And no cookie shit, right? They really
No,
get
who?
exposed to what they
No.
was. I said no cookie shit, no cookie cutter type training, right?
Okay.
We gonna tell you, look, if you do this, if this is your mindset and this is how you react in the situations, you going to prison and or you're gonna lose your life, right? And it's also gonna affect your family. You're stepping into this realm to be able to protect yourself and your loved ones. That means your mindset needs to change. So the more training you do, the more conflicts, the more stress induced training you're exposed to, the better your decision making becomes, right? When you understand the burden that you carry, when you understand the consequences of your actions, one or two things is going to happen. Either you're going to start conforming your mindset, which means cognitively you're going to start changing how you respond to things, or you're going to keep that Superman syndrome and find yourself in some shit.
Sleep fancy, find yourself in some shit. So where do you think we lose it at? Like, where do you think that is one of those headaches when you just like, man, you came from a training session with these people, and it's like I don't think they get it. Like, it's just I know it's going to take some further. What is the they don't get part? Like, what part did you think we miss?
The gravity of the application of deadly force. Like once you've actually pointed that gun in what you believe is a self-defense manner and you've pressed that trigger, once you press that trigger, that's it. That's when all that tough guy talk people would say, "Oh, I'm doing this," or "Well, he was trespassing in my yard. That's my property." And then now you find out you're facing a manslaughter charge, and now you're sick to your stomach. You're losing weight. You can't go to work. You ain't got a job. Your family's getting ready to lose it all, right? And now you're literally fighting for your life, right? Because now you're facing 25 years, and then
So
you're leading up to a jury of 12 to say, well, that was justified, so not guilty, or no. We feel like it was he was guilty.
So let's talk about this scenario. You get a phone call from somebody, a loved one or a family member, and you just happen to pull up. Hey, come pull up, and come pull up on me. And it's a situation altercation. How does that look for us?
So it could go several ways, right? You pull up with the intention of, all right, I'm just want to make sure everything is good. But as soon as you pull up, things go left, and then now you have a decision to make. Do you get involved or not? More than likely, what is someone gonna do? This is my people, my family. I get involved, right? And then now, hey, now you in the shit. You just use deadly force, and now you have to articulate your justification for it, and the facts need to back it up. If the facts don't back it up, you out of gas. So you have to make the decision. You need to know what you're stepping into. Yeah, my family calls me. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pull up because that's my family. But then I don't know the full details of what's going on. I pull up, they start, things get physical, and now a weapon's being brought into the scenario, and now I'm going to supposedly defend, right? Then come to find out, for example, come to find out my family member was involved in some sort of criminal activity prior to that, right? That's what that situation's about. And now I'm coming in the middle slash on the back end of it, and boom, now I believe I'm defending my family member. Now I just got involved in some shit.
Like I said before, it seems like our CPL instructor book should be different than other people's CPL instructor laws, and just what if shit happens, because in our world it's always that, right? You're gonna get called to a
Yeah,
situation you don't know nothing about, but you just trying to defend or help out, and then you into like you said, it was something prior to that situation, and it somehow got to, let's say, your auntie, your grandma's doorstep. Now you got to intervene, and they call you. You know what I'm saying? Because you the legal one, but you don't. you don't.
yeah,
You may not be aware 100%
of
like
what's going on.
what's going on. But then you get there, then it's a situation, and I know. Well, you get the phone calls. Hey man, such and such was in this tussle, man. He was trying to break it up, and he got hit. You know what I'm saying? I got so many friends or it's the people that just
Yeah,
that was the situation. They trying to de-escalate the situation, and
and
they
it's
they
very
catch
unfortunate.
they catch the brunt of whatever that shit. That they get hurt. They get seriously hurt. And I tell people, I said, man, you just got to be very vigilant. You got to be very aware of what's going on. Yeah, things go left real quick. You
E-
just got to be, I can say, trained enough and understand enough to see. And I don't know if you can talk about it in your training, past training. How do you read keys from people when things are about to escalate? Like, are there
Body
some things that you were
language.
taught in your training, your journey, that taught you how to read keys on people, to see what's going on? Like me, I watch a lot of hands. Like I'm a hand watcher,
Yeah,
right? So if I don't know
absolutely.
you and you at distance or you big or whatever, I'm always watching hands and pockets and whatever. So that's just my key, my note to say, okay, this is what it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had to get active, I'm watching hands, and that's just what it is.
Absolutely. That's the number one thing we teach people, right? Civilians and law enforcement, right? Hands are what's going to kill you. It's not going to be their feet, right? They're not going to lift their foot up, put their foot in their waist, and pull out a Glock and start shooting at you, right? It's going to be the hands. So when you're engaging with someone, right? Um, you look at body language, nonverbal communication, right? So, like my first shooting, I'm talking with a guy, I'm telling him, "Hey bro, club is over. It's time for you to go home, get home safe, so on and so forth." Right away, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave. I'm waiting on a loved one." I'm like, "All right, cool." Loved one comes out a couple minutes later. Now they're playing music in the parking lot. Long story short, I made contact with him a second time, and I tell him, "Hey, bro, it's time for you to go. I need you to slide. Y'all can take that party elsewhere." First time, complying. Cool. Second time I made contact with him, now he's talking shit. Right? As he's talking shit, I notice he is in a fighting stance. He goes from open hands now to closed fists. So what does that tell me? That tells me without him verbally saying it, he is getting ready. He's contemplating striking me. Right? So what I did was I took a step back, like, "Hey, bro, we ain't got to take it there. Just, you know what I'm saying? It's not that serious. I need you to get inside the car. Time to go." So paying attention to nonverbal cues are going to be very important, right? The jaw, right? He was clenching his jaw, balled up fist. I already knew. it was go time, right? And what did he do? Immediately he swung. But I was prepared because I know how to pick up on nonverbal cues. I had my pepper spray down. I was already out behind my leg. I was giving him commands, and as soon as he swung, pepper sprayed him. And immediately when I pepper sprayed him, we got into a gunfight. He goes into his waistband, watching the hands. Right, I noticed. Boom, his right hand goes to the waistband. He pulls out a gun from his waistband. I was able to identify the make and model color right away, and him and I are exchanging rounds. All right. So things can happen very quickly. That's why it's very important to pay attention to body language. You pay attention to body language, your nonverbal cues, then you can make necessary adjustments. Right. If I'm too close to someone, right, and I see something's going on, like my spidey sense is starting to kick in, I'm going to create space. I want that distance. Distance gives me the time to be able to process what's going on, and then I can respond accordingly. Whether it's deploying my firearm and or getting the cover, concealment, or whatever it might be. So
How
that
how
that's a very important thing.
how tough is being a security, like doing security at bars and stuff like that? Because my wife work, I got my wife works at a bar part time, and she all her homeboy. Some of the guys know I get down right, so there's like, hey, they'll show her, hey, look at this, look at this, look at that, look at this, and she's like, I don't know what none of that stuff is. You are gonna have to send that to my husband. I don't know what that shit is. And I always ask her like, if he does he carry a firearm at work? And she's like, I think so. I don't know. And I always ask about all these guys and like what kind of training they have or whatever. And I'm asking her that so she can kind of tell me what kind of training they had or they level of expertise. So I'm gonna tell you like if I guess I'm saying that to say you need to go talk to him if something pop off, or this is where you need to go. And I gave her a flashlight, like one of my Surefire $200-300 damn flashlights. She done lost two of them, so I gave her two of those, and I say hit it like this. I'm teaching her like how to because she be in a bar, it get crowded and get real packed in there. And I say, well, if something go pop off, call him or do this, talk to him, da 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 da.
Yep.
Get cool,
Flash him a couple
get
times.
cool with him or whatever, whatever. Just because if something pop off, they got you. Because one of the two things, either he know how to handle himself or he got something on him that he can handle himself. I care about you. You know what I'm saying? Just make the nigga some cupcakes or do something. I don't know, but just be
Yeah.
buddy
Yeah.
buddy, be buddy buddy with him. And I was just wondering, like, how physical or stressful is working in clubs like that, knowing you got a firearm on you and you got to deal with people like that.
So working in clubs is not easy because number one, you're dealing with people under the influence of several things. It could be, alcohol and or drugs, and some people have mental health issues and or anger issues, right? So knowing how to talk to people is very important. However, you also got to know how to flip that switch. It means I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to address you accordingly. But if you cross that line, hey, bro, it's time. It's time for me to go to work. All right. So yes, having the verbal skills, the verbal judo is important, but the hard skills are necessary as well. That means if they cross that threshold and you have to respond, you better respond aggressively. You better respond and show that this is where your training is going to show. Right. So when shit hits the fan and it's time to clock in, make sure you clock in and you go to work.
So let's talk about this little situation. So you hit him with the pepper spray, and immediately you seen hands. And did you get off X, or did you move left or right, or what? What was? Because things. Okay, did the and you can believe me. I know what I'm trying. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but you probably say that everything just go like the Matrix, or like shit just
Yeah,
start slowing down, like the old
that's
Max Payne
exactly.
video game, and just like, hey, was that like, did that
Yeah,
really happen?
yeah. So and everyone's situation is going to be different. Like for mine, my first one, yeah, once his hand went to the waistband and it was coming up and I saw the gun, it was like slow motion, but my vision, right? He pulled out a subcompact Glock. I mean, it was my eyes were focused on the gun. I watched it come up as I started to draw my firearm, and yeah, for me, I didn't necessarily get off the X because where we were at, we were in between two vehicles, so it's essentially a tunnel, right? I had a vehicle to my left, vehicle to my right, and him and I were standing in between both vehicles. He was at the front, I was at the rear passenger door. So getting off the X for me was retreating and then either going left or going right around the vehicle, right? And that's what I did while him and I were actively engaging.
And I tell our people, man, like like get all your necessary training in, and then like go take some like urban defensive classes, because this brother just said that he was in between cars. How and like low light and understanding urban environments, like taking a low light class and understanding urban environments is like critical for us, because we're always in urban environments where the cars is a tunnel. So how do you get off the X? How do you move? You get in between cars. Do you use cars as cover? Are you using A pillars or B pillars or engine blocks or trucks? How do you visually see that? And I know you probably processed all that in that situation, but most people are almost going to be Dukes or Hazard to jump over some damn like Kevin Hart some shit and jump
Yeah.
over a car hood. But that's not what you did.
Yeah, and not only that, their training, they've never done that in training. They think just by osmosis, they're just gonna operate like SEAL Team Six. In all transparency, that first shooting that I had was right outside, right after the police academy, and I didn't know much about shooting in and or around vehicles, right? So for me, I was I was just winging it, right? I retreated, got off of the X, right? And then him and I had a rolling gunfight where he was chasing me. And yes, at one point I got to a car where I was using it as cover. But guess what? I saw two people inside that car. He's actively shooting at me. What am I doing by standing behind that car using it as cover? I'm now putting the driver and passenger in jeopardy. So I have a decision to make. Do I stand here, put them in jeopardy, and now that's going to be on me, or do I move away from them to draw his attention away from where we're at right now to make sure that innocent people don't get hit? And that's what I had to do. Just like there was a point in time where I wanted to return fire right away, but guess what? Once he popped off at me first, now you have cars fleeing, you got people running, you're responsible for every round that you fire. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So decision making, being able to cognitively process. All right, yep, I'm justified in using force, but guess what? What's behind my target, my backdrop? I have people running. If I miss, guess what? Someone could possibly get hit, and I don't want that on my conscience. So you have a choice to make. Do you just start blasting away, or do you say, "Let me put myself in a better position where I can engage and stop this threat"?
Well, and then how long did it take you to process that? That wasn't no 10 minutes. That was like less than some
No,
seconds.
no, because yeah, this is immediately right away. But what helped me is my own rules of engagement. I long time ago, just like when we all started firearms training, firearm basic safety principles, right? Know your target and know what's beyond your target. Know your backdrop. So that was something that was drilled into me, right? So when this was happening, I'm running through all that. I'm going through the files, my training files in my brain cognitively. I'm like, all right, up, I can't. I got too many people running up, duck, get behind the cover, boom, start running, boom, up, he's chasing me, he's firing, up, duck, pop back up, I got people in this car, I gotta move. And
And,
you're processing all that.
because you know you got the four safety rules, right? And you talk about them all the time. But it's kind of like two. It's two of them that's super major, right? Finger on the trigger, and don't point your gun at nobody unless you trying to. If you just take those and just run those, that'll let you know 100% how to act, and how to. If you haven't taken any other classes, just understand the finger and pointing that gun at anything that you're not willing to destroy, right? Those two. So I got my homeboy, my little homies, um, and I'm teaching him stuff, and he got CPL license. So I'm getting the firearms. We teaching, we talking, and he don't understand. Like when you know this, when you give people firearms that not a cousin of firearms, is just the hand movements, right? Like the hands always want to do dumb shit, right? And I say, bro, and I'm just like, you got this gun, this firearm in your hand. I said, listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go home, take a spoon, right? He's like, what you talking about? I want you to take a spoon and talk to your wife and just do all the hand movement. Every time you point that spoon or touch her with that spoon, That's the gun in your hand, and that's what you could have did to her. And he like, what you mean? I said, listen, take a spoon and then have a conversation with her. If you can't keep that spoon face down or like face down on the ground, and you just happen to touch her or point at something, that means you didn't point a gun at your wife. And it
Yep.
took him a second to get it. And I said, bro, I said, your hands always want to do stuff. You really got to understand, like, you got this firearm in your hand. You got to keep the barrel in the safe direction. These are the safe directions. And just because you moving, if your gun in your right hand, your left hand want to do something, don't mean the right hand got to do it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really gotta break that
Separate.
shit, separate that shit. So,
If I'm
um,
a if my shooting hand is I'm a lefty, right? So guess what? My left
oh,
hand is
weirdo.
dedicated. Yeah, now we're smarter, bro. We're smarter and we're more creative. So left hand is dedicated to doing only it's dedicated to holding that gun in a safe direction. Anything else I need to do, my right hand is my secretary, you do all the admin stuff. Shooting hand maintains the gun in a safe direction. Finger off the trigger. All right. If I need to do anything else, it's my non-shooting hand that's doing the work. Outside of that, and this is where it comes down to training. The more training and consistently, like consistent, effective training, they get to understand that, right? They get to realize, well, just because my this hand is doing that doesn't mean my gun hand has to do the same thing. No, I can keep the gun pointed down, and guess what? If I want to open the door, my non-shooting hand reaches the knob, grabs the knob, I open the door. I don't need to do it with both hands. Right. So understanding how to break down the process and proper weapons manipulations is going to be key.
Proper weapon manipulation and gun flow. And I guess I'm my own enemy. Or I guess we are on our own enemies. And what I mean by that is people see us do stuff. Like, I go to matches. I shoot two gun matches. I shoot USPSA. And a lot of people may think, like, I've been in the game a long time. A lot of people may think like I would just, as soon as I got my firearm, I was running with it, right? No, it took some steps, right? I had to get some training to understand how to manipulate a firearm, or how to understand weapons flow. And it's because they see the sizzle, they don't know what it took to get to the sizzle. And like, we shoot a real sweet, intense two gun match where you may have to open the door with your AR rifle, right? You may have to open the window with your pistol or go to a match. You may have to knock a window down with your, you can push it with the gun, or with your offhand, and it's a target back there. And sometimes people just put their hand in that gun and don't understand, like, I touched it and the gun is up, I'm about to shoot, but you're literally sweeping your hand. Oh yeah. Oh, there ain't no. You only get one shot,
Yeah,
bro. You gonna put a hole through your hand. So it's it's like I said. I would say we are our own worst enemy. But I guess it's good to show people how, where you can get to. But a lot of people don't understand the work it takes to get to be able to maneuver and work, and to do all these things. Like, and I said,
yeah.
just take a class. You just got to train and get familiar with your firearm. And I think these people just want to jump into the sizzle a lot because it's fun, is active, but not understanding the discipline it takes to learn the gun fu ways, right?
I will say that, and I think you'll agree with me on this. It's a marathon. Unfortunately, we see a lot of people sprinting, and this game is a marathon. All right, you got your firearm, check. You took your CPL concealed license, check. That's not you haven't even started yet, right? Now, after that, now you can start diving in to pistol marksmanship, right? Drawing from the holster, right? Then from there, we can get into a little bit of dynamic work, shooting and moving. Then we can get into learning about shooting in and or around vehicles. Then we can do low light, no light. Then we can kind of start picking up the pace. And there's always something to learn, right? You never know it all. You and I were constantly training. We're always finding new things. We're always learning new things. So I think too many times people think, all right, I got my license, boom, that's it. It doesn't start there, right?
It
You need
is
to you need to
keep con-
invest, right? Keep it going. People
uh
get a gun and are, I know I've known people just they move to Florida, they get a gun, then they take a class and now they're teaching people. bro, you've only owned a gun for 6 months and you took one class. What knowledge and or experience do you have that you can impart into others? How are you able to help them when you're still learning yourself?
And that's a comment I made on the IG live, right? And I was just doing it for conversation purposes. And we had a lot of instructors on there, and it was a lot of like a black instructors. There's a lot of people coming in, and everybody was instructors or defensive, whatever, whatever. Just they would continue, talking about their backgrounds and stuff. And my comment was, do you think it's oversaturation? Because every week it's a instructor it's an instructor giving an instructor course somewhere, right? So once was a student, now the student is an instructor, now the instructor is an instructor for an instructor. And I'm just like, when does this shit stop? Like, bro, how many CPL instructors and it's a
You
new
trying to
so
get me in trouble. You trying to get me in
well
trouble.
listen, so when you get your CPL license, it's a rebirth, right? Now you can carry a firearm, so it's a new it's a new CPL carrier every day, right? Let's just whatever. It's a new CPL carrier every day. Every Saturday and Sunday, somebody got their damn certificate and about to go make a damn appointment at the damn city hall every damn weekend, right? 2 weeks later, like you said, or a month later, whatever, they got some grand idea that I can get 30 or 40 people, charge them a buck, whatever, whatever. Go to this and I can do this. Then they get the grand idea or take this let's say this online courses and online certificates. Now they become the instructor for the instructor to teach the students. I'm just where did this shit end? And that's what I meant. Like, is it oversaturation? I know it's a lot of people out there that wants to get trained, that need
Absolutely.
to get trained, but I'm just like,
It's it's definitely oversaturated, and part of it is we have people who, again, are this is a marathon, right? You have to invest time, energy, and money, right? When you're saying you want to teach people, you have to understand that you're taking on a huge liability and responsibility as well, because the shit that you're teaching, it better be legal, and you better be able to back that shit up in court when you get that subpoena, because you're out there teaching people some shit. Then one of them goes out there and they end up using deadly force. And now they're saying, well, hey, Joe Blow, he said to do this and he taught me this. And now you have to defend yourself. Now you have to sit in the hot seat, which is known as the box. And you got to explain that to the jury and to the state. And you got to stand on business. And if you taught them some fugazi shit, your ass is going to get cooked and handed to you. Just because you got your instructors, just because you got your CPL, just because you see that there's an opportunity to make money doesn't mean that you should be teaching. It should be more than just that. Do you have the passion for it? Do you understand the art of teaching? Do you know how to communicate to people? Do you know how to understand what they're saying when they don't even know what they're trying to say? Do you have the real life experience of carrying a gun and or using it? For example, people that are people that teach like gunfighting class. Bro, you've never been into a gunfight. So why are you teaching gunfighting class? Like what experience do you have in that realm besides regurgitation? That's not really teaching. And
I,
motherfuckers don't like when I say that shit. Like like
well, I think
like
it's
have
this.
some experience in what you teaching.
I think it's this. They go to a class, and I think the marketing scheme or marketing idea would be, say, take this gunfighting class because it sound cool. I'm gonna stop now. I see. Oh, this motherfucker. This dude got. Oh, that's gunfighting 101. Bet. Let's check it out. Okay. Opposed to calling it handgun three advanced handgun. They ain't. I
Yeah.
will probably
No,
click
everybody they
on.
want the catchy words.
I'm gonna click on a gunfighting. I ain't gonna click on enhanced. You know what I'm saying? Gunfighting three or whatever you want to call it. So I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, you can't say I'm in a handgun fighting class and you ain't really been in no shit. You just repeating what your instructor told you to do or whatever. I'm 100% agreeing with you on that. One thing that I do wish more instructors would do and not take it personal is if you got a bunch of CPL instructors in your area, that's cool with you, like they need to promote you in their classes. Don't take that as you taking money out their pocket because you getting their students that come to you. Like it should be a continuous education. Like if I'm a CPL instructor and if I don't teach these classes, and I mean teaching these classes at an advanced level, meaning like I did this shit, not that I took a certificate online that says I can teach a rifle one class. I didn't take this class online and say I can teach an advanced pistol class, but you actually spent hundreds or thousands of dollars and went and trained with guys and went and trained with some of the guys on these trees, on these learning trees that everybody want to go train with or get education from, and stack a resume and say this is good. But like if you that guy, then I'm gonna say, hey, won't you go holler at Chris because he teach advanced weapon class. He teach AR or platform. He teach stop the bleed. He teach low light. I don't teach that. My lane is right here, and I'm gonna pass you off to him. I don't think enough of CPL instructors do that because they're gonna say, well, I can teach that too. Listen, you can only be great at one thing, right? You can't be great at a lot of things. You can't be a CPL instructor and or a advanced, instructor in other class. Now you can teach CPL classes, and like my homeboy, he's a great instructor. He teaches a lot of advanced classes, but he only may teach one CPL class every 4 5 months, right? Just because he just do it because he like to do it. But he teach other classes. But I just don't feel like if you're a CPL instructor, I don't think you got time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Look,
saying? Like
you-
to go get the teaching you need to go teach all these other advanced classes. That's just my opinion. They could like it or love
I
it. All right.
agree with you. I agree with you. You know what it is? It's the ego. We have too many people that are ego driven in this community. Look, I'm not a sniper. I stay in my lane. I'm not a sniper. I don't have any sniper experience. So when people say, "Oh, I want to be a sniper. I want to do long range shooting," I pass them on to the people that I know that got good fucking experience on that. Right? Go, yeah, go reach so and so. He got you. He's gonna teach you, man. He was a sniper. Hell, he's the lead sniper on the SWAT team. He teaches classes. Get with him. He gonna get you right. I stay within my realm of knowledge, experience, and training. A keyword experience. Too many times people are just taking classes and then fucking start teaching shit. And bro, and then we see the dumb shit that we see online, people doing. I'm like, bro, these are not even logical tactics, bro. People, you start making shit up because you're trying to be creative, you're trying to be fancy, you're trying to be tactical. No, bro, stick to keep it very simple. Stick to the fundamentals, right? And that is it. So if you're not a sniper, you don't have long range shooting, stop teaching these courses, right? If
Well,
you don't have experience, it's frustrating. Like stick to what you know, and if you don't know something, say I don't know. Plenty of times people have asked me a question. Guess what? I don't have an answer to that. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I don't know. But guess what? We're gonna find out together. I'll start making calls. I tap into my network and resources, I'll get you the answer. And guess what?
and
I just learned something new as well.
right. I don't think enough of us do that, and maybe in my area, it may be it may be different in your area. I just don't think enough of us actually promote other people's like I'm not taking money out your pocket. I'm helping you, right? Because the more you send people to me, they can be like, "Hey, man, this person." They gonna talk more about you because you know what I'm saying. You getting them the education they need because it's about teaching the students the right way, to educate and to get them to be able to be responsible armed citizens out in the world. It ain't about the bottom dollar that you I say this: my passion pocket is deeper than my profit pocket. Right? When I was teaching, like I didn't, I can, I would teach you freely on the stuff I know. I'm gonna pass on knowledge because I just felt like nobody was there to teach me when I was looking to get educated. Like that looked like me, that looked like us. I went straight to the homies and got all my education. So I wanted to bring back that. I wanted to bring that education and knowledge back to my people, to my friends, my family, whatever. Just because I'm just open, I want to teach. So I don't think enough of us understand that. Like it ain't a. It's about the collaboration. It's about the connection, the networking, and to push them, to push the students further so they can get better, so we can all be better as a group of people. So I don't think
A-
they get that.
Absolutely. And collaboration over competition, right? We can actually achieve more collectively when we work together versus the crabs in a barrel bucket mindset, right? Like, for example, where I'm at, I've reached out to a bunch of instructors, and there's maybe only about one instructor, actually two, who has collaborated with me, who's worked with me. The rest, they see me as competition, and they wouldn't, they're not willing to do anything like that. But
And
yet I see that they're teaching shit that's incorrect. And I'm like, bro, you're not staying in your lane. But hey, I've learned to drink water and mind my business.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Are they teaching the wrong or they got taught the wrong? Because let's say that the learning tree of people you need to learn from is not that big. But the tree that these people go off of could be bigger because they don't like everybody don't get the same teaching that everybody else get, and you can tell that in some tactics and things you see on Instagram or whatever. So do you think they just don't know, or they didn't get the right teaching? I mean, do you don't think they got the right teaching, or they just winging that shit?
It could be a combination, but to me, it's no excuse because once you decide that you want to teach people, it's your responsibility. Just like people who carry guns and they go out and do the wrong shit and then they get charged. There's a saying, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So when you decide to step in that realm to teach, you better know what the fuck you're talking about and have experience in it. If not, you shouldn't be teaching it. But it goes back to ego. Like, if you know for sure that you're not well versed in this, then you shouldn't be teaching it.
True. I'm just looking at both sides because people can get the wrong teaching information and they want to bring it back to the group and
That
and
too. That too. If it's genuinely one of those like, all right, I went to this instructor and this is what he taught me, and you don't know any better, then that's that, right? You've trained with one instructor and this is what he told you. However, when you train with multiple people, right, when you invest in your training, you probably have a better chance of realizing, hey, what that first instructor told me was nonsense because these other four instructors have said, nope, that is completely incorrect. That is bullshit. You don't ever say that again. And here's why. And you've heard that from four other instructors. So now you know, like the information that I was told was not up to par.
yeah. Like I said, I just don't think we catch that. And then the whole, and I know you said to mention this too. Like, why don't we train more? Do you think it's the price, or you think that we just don't care about it? I mean, not care about it. It's just that you think that the CPL, once I get the firearms, that's it. I don't need to do no more.
I
Or
think it's a
or they count
combination of things.
or they count your pockets. What you think it
I
is?
think I think it's a combination of things. People don't see the value and they don't think that they'll ever need additional training, right? They think their mindset is, all right, I got my CPL and that's it, right? It's more than just that. Your license to carry class does not teach you tactics, does not teach you marksmanship, does not teach you dynamic shooting, does not teach you in-depth critical thinking. It doesn't expose you to stressful situations, so you're behind the curve, right? I tell people, what is your why? Your why should drive that. If your why is your family and you know that they mean the world to you, then why are you putting a price on it?
And I
If
used to
you
use
look at your
this.
kids,
I used to use this analogy. Well, not analogy. I used to say, look, once I learn how to train me, I can help you. Once I learn how to help you, I can help us, right? Meaning like once I get my training, I know how to protect myself, I can protect you. Then once I learn how to protect you, I can protect us, meaning like the family, it all go together. So that's kind of my why right there. That was 100% my why. Why I did it. I said,
absolutely.
look, I'm gonna carry a firearm. I need to know how to use it proficiently. I want to learn how to shoot a rifle. I need to learn how to shoot it proficiently. So I just went down that rabbit hole of training, training, training. And a good thing is just the instructors that were in Michigan at the time, and some are still here, were like came off of some trees that like well known instructors. So I was getting like top of the line because, like you said, I went other places and trained, and the stuff that I was taught they weren't doing or didn't know, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got some good shit.
And it
So
became a domino effect. Yeah,
it can't
yeah.
really. I got some good shit. I just, what I'm saying. I just think a lot of people be counting pockets, man, and What I mean by that, if you go to a class, you got 10 people, and they're like, man, I paid 150, and they know that you about to come up $1,000. They think you just pocketing 1,000 and keep it moving. Like they don't know you
Yeah.
have to pay for the range. They don't know you got to pay for your insurance, like
Overhead,
overhead,
liability,
liability.
ammo, targets, all that stuff, bro.
It's
You know what I mean?
it's and
Like,
sometimes it don't even make sense to be out there, but you out there because you love it. And I think that's one of
because of the passion.
the passion. I think that's one of
With
our downfalls. Well, we don't because that was another topic. Why you don't think it's more high level, let's say black instructors out there, or out there training or doing whatever, or why aren't they training with them? And Chef has said maybe because I think, what did he say? He was saying that
essentially,
that
people don't value it. They'll buy the Jordans. They'll buy. So it goes to what I say, guns and butter, right? What is your priority? Too many of us like, all right, I got a gun. All right, cool, and they think that's it. Or they might take a class because it's mandated, and then that's it. Outside of that, motherfuckers ain't really trying to invest in training. But you'll go to concerts, you'll go party, you'll go pop bottles, you'll go do this, you go do that, but you ain't gonna invest in your skill set so you know how to protect yourself and your loved ones. So then that tells me your loved ones really don't matter. You don't matter. You just having a gun just to flaunt it. If more of our people invested in training, right? Number one, we have the number one buying power. If more of our people actually started flooding and training with us, you would see a drastic change within the 2A community. Again, we have the most buying power. So that means if collectively they started saying, all right, we're going to support people like we're going to support black instructors, you'll start seeing a big shift. Like for me, my first black instructor was Will from Gladiator Guns. That was my first black instructor. And I trained with him, I think, 5 years ago. Might have been six. Outside of that, all my instructors were white or Spanish. That's it. So again, if our people will start valuing that, just the way like we do with foreign cars, the amount of the billions of dollars that we spend on foreign cars, the amount of money we spend on Jordans, right? If we start shifting our priority to personal defense, learning how to use firearms, learning the laws, so that way we can minimize and prevent the seeing the high numbers of our people being charged. Now you're in the criminal justice system. And you know how you could have prevented that? By investing in your training. Had you invested in some training, you'd realize, you know what? You can't do that.
um and I think some of that has to do with regional, meaning like we don't try. It's not a lot of, and I could be wrong. Y'all, I could be wrong. Audience, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's not a lot of it. It's a couple of instructors that travel around, but sometimes they may not go to areas where other people may travel to. Like let's just say Michigan. Like I don't know if a lot of my people or homies would travel to Texas to go train with Will. Right? Like I would go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
keep inviting me to that damn ranch to get my ass whooped. I ain't coming, Will.
Yeah.
I ain't doing it.
No, I'm
I ain't.
Hey, Will, bro, Will, this year I will be there, man. I've been missing it out because either I'm attending a class somewhere or I got something else going on, my daughter. But nah, this year I'm I'm coming to Texas, man. I'm
Listen,
coming to Texas, man.
listen.
I'm coming to
I
get that work.
listen. I would make a comment on his feed, and then I get a DM later. You coming to 2026 or 2025? This, I'm like, man, I gotta stop commenting on his shit
Yeah,
because he keep asking me to come to get my ass whooped. But I'm just saying, I don't like. I would go. I would fly to Central Florida to come mess with you, right? I just don't know where everybody else would, right? I would fly
yeah.
to probably go say KD. I would fly to go see Ken Scott if he's back
KD
out there.
as yep.
And Ken
Ed Scott's
Scott,
another one too.
if they were
Train with
doing
him,
it
great guy.
right, um, I would go, train with Gladiator Six is where he at. Like I would definitely like even I want to go set up something when Barber get back. Shoot. I mean, he got some classes out, but go shoot with Barber just because speed, competition, all that.
Yeah,
I can put it all together with the
correct.
tactical side. So I would.
Then you
I just
got
don't
DJ
DJ
Jenkins.
and
Yep, Deshaun.
I don't know if it's a lot of us that would travel outside their comfort zone, their regional comfort zone, to go get that work. I don't see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No. But then what we have to do, like instructors like myself, adjust. Like, hey, I'll come to Michigan, I'll come to South Carolina, I'll come wherever. You got a group of people, 3 or 4 people, make it happen. Right. I'll make the financial sacrifice because obviously when you're traveling and you're training, right, you want X amount. Usually it's 6 or 7. So financially it's worth it. But sometimes I've learned and I've done that, like, yo, it's just 3 y'all. All right, I'm riding, I'm on the road, we'll make it happen. And then the goal is I get you three. I want you three to go get other people. And the next time we have six. The next time we have nine, or it might be 12, right? So, and that's the goal. Plant that seed, show them the value, and like, all right, cool, man. There's a lot that I need to learn. And
Um,
I'm gonna do it because my family is worth it.
and that's another thing too. Having access to places where we can be able to have host those events because it's not a. I'm gonna be real. It's not a lot of places that let you host events if you're not on the board or not Mr. Deputy Doodah, you know what I'm saying, per se,
Part
again
of
with
the
the
club.
part of the club. So it's kind of restricted on what we can actually do. I mean, this side, you know what I'm saying? Over in the South, people got property land, they can do whatever. And I also think people don't like to come out their comfort zone. They like to be in a group of people where they could be top dog and they don't want to go and shoot with other top they don't want to go shoot with other wolves or top dogs in environments like and Will said all the time, you only way you get better is being uncomfortable. Like I can be on the line or be somewhere with it's all great shooters. It's gonna work. Let's hit the buzzer. Let's get at it. That's me because I
Yeah.
come from a
S-
competitive background and world. I just don't think enough of us is okay with that, right? Getting out of their comfort zone and being shown that you really don't know how to run this. You're an instructor. You may shoot competition a little bit, but you really don't know how to run this. I don't think
Talk,
they don't want to get out that
talk,
comfort zone.
talk your shit, man. Listen, because guess what? Now all that shit, that tough guy talk and all that tactical videos, now you got to back it up. You got to show it in real time.
Real
This is
time.
why it's good to be this is why it's good to be humble. And now you got the pressure, all eyes on you. Go time when that buzzer goes, let's go. Let's see what you're working with. Right?
Yeah.
You like to speed up your videos. Oh, I'm Bill drill. Oh, I'm 1 second flat. All right, now you just did a Bill drill in front of us, and motherfucker,
Hey, bro. Hey,
you missed the
you
target.
listen,
Like,
listen. Let me say this: you can be point, you can be sub-second Bill Drill in the closet. God damn it! But you go to that
yeah, yeah,
line and everybody looking at you
yeah,
like, all right, let's go. You like,
yeah. And now you got that stress. Yeah, yeah. So, and that's why it's good just to, if you're humble, ain't nobody's ever gonna give you no shit. But if you pop that shit and that's how you move, you know what I'm saying? And you're the tactical guy, all that. Now you gotta show us. You know what I mean? You got to show people what you're working with. So for me, I think people again the ego thing as an instructor, they think I know it all, and the title gets to them. No, instructor means that you know the information, you've passed the qualification, and you can regurgitate that information to the people. Can you coach them? Can you educate them? That's a difference, right? And can you know that? Look, I'm not the best shooter in the world, but guess what? I will go against the best shooter in the world and I'm going to learn some valuable nuggets that's going to make me better. That's going to that's going to go into my bucket of progression, right? Cuz I'm constantly trying to progress. I'm constantly trying to advance. I'm constantly trying to be better. So
let me
guess what? I'm not scared, bro. Like I don't care who it is, bro. We're going to run it. JJ Ricard, I don't care who you are, bro. Get on the line. Let's run it. You're going to smoke me, but guess what? I'm going to give you the best that I got and I'm going to pick your brain while I'm at it.
yeah,
And
hit
I'm
the
going to learn
buzzer.
from you.
Hit the buzzer. We
That's
at
it.
it. It's it.
Hit the
Hit the
buzzer,
buzzer.
bro. And I'm
Do
and
you?
I'm gonna pop shit because I'm from New York. So we on the line. I'm gonna talk my shit, bro. I'm gonna talk shit.
So let me ask you this: Do you? Do you? Well, I guess you did. We talked about. I mean, to mention the ego part. You know, I don't say I'm an instructor. I say I'm just here to help. So if you want to know something, I'm gonna tell you where I made a mistake at. I'm gonna tell you what I learned from, what may help you cut down time, what may help you reload faster. You know, just the stuff that I know. I try to, like you said, I just try to help. I don't consider myself an instructor, but I try to help where I can. Um, I just don't think enough of us take advantage of us that really knows what's what. I guess if that makes sense. I just don't think that
I
we don't take
I agree
advantage of
with
it.
you. I feel the same way. Like with what I do and with what I do and what I've been through, there's only a select few people that's really tapped into me as far as people that look like us. Because why? The rest of them see me as competition, so they don't want to. Hey, I'm not trying to pick his brain or collaborate with him or this or that. But yet, I'll see them teaching stuff that legally is incorrect, and I'm like,
Question, question. You said legally incorrect or correct. Let me ask you this: Is there? Can you draw your weapon in a situation like you had and back up a threat without firing your weapon or point it at him or point it at the threat?
yeah, you can. Number one, if the gun is coming out, no matter what, it needs to meet that threshold, right? That legal justification. Imminent death, great bodily harm, or you're preventing a forcible felony, right? Those are the three like thresholds. If you're involved in a situation, you're not the aggressor, right? And then you're with someone, and then they're doing something that puts you in one of those categories where you're preventing imminent death, great bodily harm, or the commission of a forcible felony. You draw in a justified manner, in a legal manner. You draw your firearm, and before you can press the trigger, guess what? They put their hands up. They drop that knife. They put their hands up. They immediately stop. That's a win. Or when you go to draw, you start giving verbal commands and they actually listen to you and they stop. That's a win. That's happened before. So so you can draw with the intent, I'm going to use this gun because I'm drawing it. If I'm drawing it, that means it's a green light situation. And as I'm getting ready to start working the trigger to give you some corrective behavior, you immediately stop because you recognize what's in my hand. And you're like, oh shit, bro, I done upped it on you. You're like, damn, bro, I don't want no smoke. You stop. And if I'm able to cognitively recognize that and process it and respond accordingly, it's a win-win for both of us because I didn't have to actually press the trigger. Because once I press the trigger, that's it.
So, gas station parking lot. I see two guys kind of like coordinating a M-tip strike on me. I don't know for sure, but they getting damn near close. I'm, at the gas station back to whatever, but I'm kind of like aware of what's going on. Like one, two, okay, they getting kind of close. What's my course of action before we get
No,
to
no,
escalation time?
number one, are you inside the vehicle or outside the vehicle?
I'm outside the vehicle, gas pump in
So
hand, gas in the car.
okay. So you're outside the vehicle, six senses going off. You're like, I see what's going on here. They approach you. If there's no weapon in plain view, if there's no weapon that's out, you really can't do much. The only thing you can verbally say, hey, bro, back up. Don't get too close to me, bro. I don't know what time it is. You have to wait for that threshold. Them just walking towards you is not enough. Right? Some people to them, they're like, "Hey man, two people walking up to me, I'm drawing down." Well, guess what? Now you're probably going to get an aggravated assault charge, right? Because you unlawfully drew. Just because they were walking towards you and you felt threatened by them or by how they looked doesn't justify you in drawing your gun and pointing it at them. Where's the imminent death? Where's the great bodily harm that you're preventing? Or where's the forcible felony? If the answer is no to any one of those, you out of gas. Now they start charging you while saying that they're gonna rob you, they're gonna fuck you up, and then let's say someone produces a weapon. Now, guess what? We've just moved that goalpost, and it's go time,
Well,
right?
what if it's two of them? Is no weapon to be drawn, but it's two of them.
No weapon, but they start. Are they attacking you now? So they
They
get
had
into a space, they start attacking.
one at one edge of the car, the other one's at the other edge of the car. So I'm kind of
Because
locked in. I'm kind of standing my ground, but I'm kind of pinned in.
your best bet is to retreat, right? I'm gonna start backing up. Hey man, I don't want no problems. Get away from me, back away, stay away from me. And then you tell them, I will defend myself. I will defend myself. And if there's people around, there's other people around, I would tell someone, hey man, can you call 911? While I'm telling them, I'm yelling at them, hey, back up, stay away from me. I don't want any problems. If you charge me, I'm gonna defend myself. And then unfortunately, it's one of those things where for me, I'm going to keep backing up because I'm going to give them that. That's me trying to de-escalate. That's me trying my best to avoid this situation. Now, if I start backing up and they charge me, that's a whole different ballgame. Now it's clear you're charging me, and I have to wait until, unfortunately, there's some sort of physical contact because you charging me again when I'm trying to explain or justify my use of deadly force. Yeah, he ran towards me. Okay, he ran towards you and he was unarmed, and you shot him. How does that look? How does that sound?
Well,
He ran towards me. Him and his friend they ran towards me, and then they immediately started hitting me. So now you have the battery and or assault, because some states call it battery, some states call it assault. Now you have the active felony that's taking place. Now that's a whole different story. You're in the green, right? If you have the hand-to-hand combat skills to defend yourself without deploying your firearm, awesome. Go ahead and do so. But if you don't, and you have two people actively jumping you and you're armed, at some point you're gonna have to draw and start giving them some corrective behavior in a justified manner.
well, one thing you did, great thing you said was I'm gonna start talking and yelling and getting people to understand. Like I'm creating a whole bunch of noise around me so people can visually see what I'm doing, and they can hear me say stop. Don't come no
Yep.
closer. I'm here to defend myself. Listen, I don't want no problems. Da da da. You keep repeating that. Everybody hearing it. The gas station camera hearing it. The gas station camera
Yep.
see you backing up. So everything to me after
And
that.
and and then folks recording you because you know how it goes. Motherfuckers gonna pull out cameras and start recording you. So it'll be there. That's your evidence. Those are your witnesses. And don't 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 think with your ego. I don't care if I have to backpedal 20, 30, 40 feet. If I do that and I avoid the deadly force, it's a win. That's a win. Too many times people are like, no, man, I'm gonna stand my ground. Okay, stand your ground and you're gonna do it the wrong way. Now you fighting for your life.
Hey, they. I was watching something on TikTok or something. The guy was like, "Do you know how gangster it is to de-escalate?" Basically, he was saying, "You know how gangster it is to not do something, like when you can do something."
Exactly.
Excuse me. You know how gangster that is. I was like, "Hey, he that that makes sense." And one thing before we go, you said it's three things that has to be in effect. You said what was the third? It was the third one, the felony. What you
So
call it?
so the first one, you're preventing imminent
Thing?
death.
Hmm.
You're preventing great bodily harm or the commission of a forcible felony.
Explain that. So this in case people don't
So
know.
forcible felony are going to be crimes that involve violence, all right? In layman's terms. So some examples are carjacking, right? Carjacking is a suspect uh, permanently or temporarily depriving you of that vehicle with violence. So you're sitting inside your car at the gas station, car pulls up, passenger jumps out, opens up your car door, they start punching you, telling you, get out the vehicle, get out the vehicle. They're actively carjacking you, right? That's a forcible felony that you can use deadly force on, right? Another forcible felony would be like a home invasion, right? Robbery, murder, or any type of like sexual assault. Those types of violent felony crimes that qualify as that are classified as a home invasion. I mean, that classify as a forcible felony. You would be justified in using deadly force. So that means you can immediately go to deadly force.
Hey, I try to get the most educated people on here because I don't talk as eloquently as my man Chris do, but I try to be. I try to be educated. I try to be
Hey,
eloquent. I
I try my best as well too.
Hey, brother, you did a great job. I hope everybody appreciate the game and the game and everything that we was talking and learn something from it. Cause that's basically what we try to do with the podcast. It took me a minute to get going, man. I was coming, was work, just tired. I was trying to shake it off.
Hey,
But that's what
same here, man.
we try to do, man. We try to educate the uneducated, train and give game to the ones that need it. And like I said in the beginning, and that was the reason I wanted to kick it with you, because I was like, man, he got a lot. It sound to me, this sound like you had a lot more to say about certain things and certain topics. And everybody was talking, it was cool. But I was just like, let me reach out to him and give him the opportunity. Let's kick it, because I wanted to ask him some questions and just some stuff on my mind that I don't think um uh like CPL gun responsible gun owners that want to be knows or understands and need to know because they don't, like I said, they don't get the further education. They don't understand the laws or to understand the use of deadly force, what it means, what it looks like, and understanding what happens afterwards. And how that mentally could be spiritually, ethically, all that. Because you get into some shit
Financially, yeah,
financially, you get
it's
into some shit, and everybody say, "Oh, you protect yourself," but now people looking at you sideways because you protected yourself, but you took somebody else from this planet, right? And however they family see it or whatever that may be, it may be some more shit pop off because in our world, that's a real thing, right?
a retaliation,
Is
retaliation,
it's a real thing, right?
and
So you got to be like it's just a lot of stuff that we deal with. So I don't think people know or understand it, and that's why I wanted to, kick it with you, man. Bring you on here, pick your brain about some stuff, some scenarios, and just let you, have at it, and we just have a good time. So that was the idea.
no,
Go
I
ahead.
appreciate you for having me on. And keep up the good work as far as putting out that good content. The knowledge piece is what we all need, right? Again, we don't know it all. We know a little bit about something and we're always willing to learn. So people like yourself who find others to pass that knowledge on is very important. If you're an instructor or a civilian, you want to train, feel free to reach out. I'm here to educate. I'm here to be a resource. I'm here to collaborate, right? Because it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the people that we serve, right? The community. It's about making sure that we're giving them the correct information and that we're empowering them with the proper knowledge.
So let people know where they can find you. Follow you at, get at you. I know you got a big following, so you probably don't need no help. I need all the damn help.
And
Hey, you can follow me at
hey,
Heavy Metal
we
Lifestyle 223. Hey, y'all can follow my ass. Don't follow his ass. Well, follow
yeah,
my
definitely
ass.
follow him. And then follow me, ftag.training on Instagram and on TikTok. Um, ftactraining.com. If you need to book a class, whether it's private session, group session, we travel. So wherever you're at, we'll come to you. Let's make it happen.
And then like when you have that new class or when you create it, let me know, man. Cause I like even if it's something we can talk about or just give scenario or a little piece of education if it's 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, I
Yeah,
would appreciate it.
absolutely. We
So
can.
it's always out there. And that's kind of like well, YouTube is always out there, so we looking up something and it's information, they type it in, it's out there, right? It's out in the world, so it's always there, right? Like you said, you got a ton of content to drop, so just drop it, shit, just
Yeah,
start.
you just reminded me. Oh, I'm on YouTube as well. I just started like doing the YouTube thing. So FTAC training, FTAC, and then training on YouTube as well. But yeah, when I finalize that, you and I could set something up. We can invite some other instructors. We can do it online, and yeah, pass some knowledge around.
And you create your own curriculum.
Yes, sir.
And that was one
Yeah,
big thing Will said like decades ago. He's like, you're not a real instructor if you can't create your own curriculum. I was like, hey,
yeah,
dropping
and
drop.
it's time consuming.
Well, yeah, it's time consuming because you gotta take all
Yeah,
that wisdom and put it into layman words for your people to digest it or understand it in all the different classes. But what instructors is writing their own curriculum opposed to cutting pages from other places, right? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Or trying to make it from other places and put it in there and make it their own, but you actually writing your own curriculum. So that's a different mind shift when it comes to that. It makes you authentic and it makes you certified, right? To me, you write your own
uh,
curriculum
yeah.
for sure. You certified. So, um, yeah, that's it, man. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on, man. Make some time for us, man. Yeah, bro. I hope you had a
I
great time.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um
no, I had a great time. I look forward to part two.
hold on one second. All right, everybody. So that was like an hour and 20 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed the one of the episodes of the Pop Culture Podcast. I had the homeboy Chris on here, man. Like I said, he was just a wealth of knowledge when I seen him on IG Live. And I thought, like, look, let me get bro on here. Let's kick it with. Let's talk to him about culture stuff. Let's talk about guns. We didn't really talk about firearms and guns. We talked more about training, education, because that's what this piece was more about. So I hope you enjoyed it. So like I said, man, game recognize game. We recognize you, so please recognize us, and please smash that like and subscribe button at the bottom. We trying to be everywhere like space, baby, and I'm around like the ground. Peace.
Pop culture 223, you can't see me. We set it free. Pop culture 223, you can't see me. You can't see me. Pop culture 223, you can't see me. We set it free.